Our next team is MYSE, Ghali Jorio, and Michael Zhang.
Good afternoon. We are MYSE, the Moroccan Youth Social Entrepreneur Center. I'm Michael, and this is
Ghali, and today we are presenting a co-working, co-living space for entrepreneurs and freelancers in developing countries. And today we are focusing on our first center in Rabat, Morocco. So first, let me share with you the story of MYSE. MYSE started in 2016 as a summer camp for youth to start social organizations. Over the past 3 years, we have been running a 5-week program for Moroccan youth to understand what is social entrepreneurship, how to identify needs, and how to build social enterprises. Last year, we expanded to a national conference where over 250 people came together to discuss the development of entrepreneurship in Morocco. Over the past 3 years, we have achieved great success. We have impacted over 400 people and built a very strong brand in Morocco. And throughout our experiences, we have met and interacted with several entrepreneurs who shared with us their problems. And one of them is Mohamed El Idrissi. Mohamed El Idrissi is an entrepreneur based in Rabat who runs his health care startup. And when we asked him about the current problems he's facing, he shared with us how they can't find a suitable place to work and live in the center of the cities of Rabat. So, and this was a very similar answer we received from the 270 entrepreneurs we interviewed. So this is the map of Rabat. And when entrepreneurs are looking for entrepreneurs who can't run their private offices and are looking for a co-working space to work and meet other entrepreneurs, it's the only place where they can go. And it's a place where we have been operating our programs over the past 3 years. And when they go there, they find the place very crowded with events. It's not well designed, well maintained, it's closed at 6, and it's not a place where entrepreneurs can go and work. So most of them end up working in cafes and restaurants to meet their clients. And after a 12, 14 hours day of work, they need a place to sleep. And the only place that they can afford and that meets their budget are current hostels in Rabat that are very rundown places. It's not a place where any of us would want to live. And when they want to rent, they can't go to hotels because they are very expensive, and they can't rent an apartment because landlords in Rabat don't want to sign leases with them for 2 reasons. One, they don't have a fixed salary. 2, they don't want to stay long term. So most of the 270 entrepreneurs we interviewed have to travel over 45 and commute over 45 minutes a day to find a place to live. So Michael, how are we going to solve this problem?
That's a great question. That's why we're here today. We're introducing the MYSE Center. What MYSE at its core is 3 elements. 1, we're providing clean and well-kept living facilities for entrepreneurs, 10 beds. We're providing private mini offices so that individuals can take private calls and meetings with clients. And we're providing a communal co-working space to help build a community and the network of entrepreneurs there, all together in one 2,000 square feet facility located at the center of the city. In order to achieve this, our mission is to create a strong and powerful community, because that is one of the key elements that we found through our market research. Entrepreneurs are growing rapidly. The global workforce is moving away from the traditional office work and more towards the gig economy, freelancers and entrepreneurs, and we want to tap into that market. The opportunity in Rabat is tremendous, around 3,000 entrepreneurs there, but it's even greater within Africa and beyond in developing countries. And ultimately, one of the key differentiators for us is our unique and profound knowledge of the local environment and the network that we've established within Morocco and beyond within Africa. Now, let's talk a little bit about amenities. There's key features that a lot of the entrepreneurs that we've interviewed told us were essential to being part of the work and being one of the key elements that they look for when they look for a place to work. One is having a strong community, having areas and places where they can network and speak with others. And so we want to create a tech-enabled co-working space with reliable and fast, high-speed internet. They want to be able to get access to free educational events and materials that will help them grow their business, things in accounting and law, things along those lines. Of course, they also want to be well caffeinated. So we're going to tap into the local entrepreneur and local businesses and source a local cafe within the facility. And lastly, they want to have special rooms, meeting rooms, presentation rooms to meet with clients, as well as potentially a green screen room to be able to do advertising and media interviews. As I mentioned, Africa is a rapid and growing economy with tremendous opportunity. A large portion of those entrepreneurs are located within Morocco, and specifically today, we've identified Rabat as the ideal first location to start with. When we talk about a social enterprise, we want to make sure that it is financially stable in the long term. And so what we've identified is 5 key revenue drivers that will help to make this project sustainable in the long term. Charging for co-working spaces, charging for private offices, charging for overnight rooms, collecting fees for third parties to be able to provide services such as a cafe or printing services. And these things are going to be able to help us drive revenue growth in the long term. And as I mentioned earlier, we've also identified key areas in which there is substantial growth within Africa, with a hope of expanding to both Marrakesh and Casablanca in 2020, and additional 6 locations beyond that, based upon not just the growth, but also the network of MYSE that we've established through the organization early on.
So to make this happen, we have a very strong action plan. As of last year, we did run a market research across the city of Rabat to understand more the needs of potential customers and understand more the market and how we can tap into it. Since February, we have been running a fundraising campaign to raise funds for the project and develop our center. By May, we hope to secure our first space and develop between May and August. And in mid-August, we operate the 4th edition of the Moroccan Youth Social Entrepreneurs Camp, the MYSE Conference, and potentially open the MYSE Center. And next semester, I'll be taking a leave from Cornell to fully focus on this project. So this is our team, the secret sauce behind MYSE. Myself, I'm a current student at the Hotel School. I'm in charge of the strategy of MYSE. Michael Zhang, he takes care of our finances. He's an MBA student at Cornell. Asma, she's a social entrepreneur running Women Empowerment Initiative in Morocco and runs the programs of MYSE. And Ibtihal Aboussad, she's in charge of the tech side of MYSE and developing technology within MYSE, and a current CS student at Harvard University. We're an executive team of 12 people who have been working together most of us have been working together since the past 3 years. So due to the hard work I've been doing, we received recognition and partnership from global organizations. We were finalists for the Harvard and Stanford Africa Business Competitions, we received mentorship and support from the Clinton Foundations, Global Shaper Community, and the African Leadership Academy, and we have great partners such as the OCP Group and Moroccan SAIS in Rabat. So we aim and we want to impact and develop entrepreneurship in Morocco, and we want to invite you to take part of this journey. We are happy to announce that we have raised about 30% of our $100,000 objective to be able to fund our project, and we want to invite you to support us either through our GoFundMe page or become a gold or silver donor and receive a free, luxury, private trip to Morocco to discover the great places in my country, learn more about the entrepreneurial community in Morocco, and also visit our center. So I want to say one thing. Africa is today in a stage where Silicon Valley was decades ago, with endless opportunities in several sectors. We want first to tap into and take part of this movement by providing the space and needs entrepreneurs currently need, and then expand from that. So we thank you very much for your attention, and we hope you can join us in this journey. Thank you very much.
Hi, wonderful idea. You've met a true market need. You spoke a lot about and showed these wonderful pictures about the facility, and you mentioned competitors in Morocco. Who do you see as your model in this country? And
so you mean our current competitors, or?
no, I'm talking about the model you based your MYSE on.
Yeah, so we have done a lot of research on the current model of WeWork and WeLive, and their growth over the past few decades around the world, and what have been done, and their focus on community and the impact it has. So we did a lot of research on WeWork too.
Yeah, I guess to sum it up in sort of one word, it's kind of space as a service instead of the traditional software as a service, and be able to provide it to entrepreneurs as a platform for growing their business.
So I think we're all familiar with their facilities, which are excellent, and as your pictures showed, but I only see $17,000 in CapEx.
Sorry?
I only see $17,000 in CapEx, and I'm actually not sure how you intend to create those wonderful spaces.
Yeah, so what we have been doing, we have worked with a this architectural design company based in Rabat, who gave us like several quotes about how much they can charge us for operating our space and building the space. So we believe that $100,000 will be more than enough for us to. We're not going to build a space from scratch. We're going to rent a facility as it's in our business model. We are going to rent a space for the first year. And
So did they give you a price on, or are they going to build it and take a piece of your?
no, it's a company that usually work in building and offering like the facilities for the space, from the desk to the decorations.
I think the other side of it, being a social enterprise, we're able to also leverage through volunteer work and as well as through our network to be able to lower the CapEx cost for starting the business, as well as because of the currency of collecting donations in US dollars and then converting it into local currency gives that advantage of lowering what the actual CapEx appears to be in US dollars.
So there's another category called donations that you haven't told us yet about?
So
In the
part of the
plan.
GoFundMe is the donation portion, which will help also drive the cost for the budget for doing the renovation and such. But also because of the way that we're structuring as a social enterprise, a lot of the work is also going to be done volunteer through the organization. Similar to what we've done in the past with MYSE and having run workshops and such at Darespace, a lot of it is volunteer work, hence reducing the overall cost of what it takes to run sort of these facilities and things along those lines.
Okay.
Do you have an organizational structure for the ownership and your company management and the individual office management, on-site management?
So, hey, I think someone
I'm sorry, can you please?
How will you organize the ownership, the investors, and the on-site management?
So we are gonna first our objective currently is to prototype and open our first center before raising like seed and round one capital of investment in 2020. So we are currently raising a very moderate amount of $100,000. Ownership will be for the current members who are gonna receive a stake in the company depending on the money and the time they can invest in the company.
Yeah, I think there's also a portion of the plan where we talk about sort of like convertible debt. So one of the things that we're going to look at is more earlier stage investors who are more so focused on social impact funds or focused on social investing, and as such, they're able to give us a portion of the loan, which can then be converted into collecting dividends or revenue from the actual facility.
So there's two levels of investment initially, and that you've described both of those.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, I love your concept. I think it's simple. It's been proven in this country to work. So you see yourselves more as a WeWork and not a 1776. You say you'll recommend people to lawyers and marketing firms and things, but you are not there to help incubate. You are not, but to create a community.
Yeah.
Yeah, the key idea is to drive that community, and the idea is actually to source these services from local entrepreneurs and local small businesses to be able to come work with us at the center and be able to use that to drive the community as a whole rather than us directing, because we believe that the locals know best and trying to build from that model.
You talked, not in your plan, but in your presentation about volunteers. What are you anticipating for staff?
Yeah. So we already started recruiting full-time staff. We already started recruiting full-time staff who are going to be working with us and manage the center throughout the year, and they're going to be paid, and it's part of our model and our expenses.
And,
Yeah, I think-
how many?
So
The size
for
of
a
your
first center, we hope to have about 5 people manage the staff for our first center.
with 10 beds.
Yeah.
And managing, it'll take 5 people.
I mean, full-time workers.
Full-time staff,
Yeah.
right? It's a good idea to release out the cafe space.
Yeah, actually, one of the other things that we were looking at is because of the way that the economy is changing towards more of a gig economy, we can actually be a bit more flexible in terms of the way that we staff as well, rather than a traditional model, as well as just hiring as needed from local entrepreneurs.
Okay. With partnerships, one more question on the space. As Sandy was saying, there doesn't seem to be a lot of funding in here for the build-out of the space. I mean, that's beautiful, and that takes more than volunteers to build out the kind of pictures that we just saw. Have you thought about using some of your partnerships? You speak about like Enactus Morocco, some universities, of finding space that a potential partner already has?
Honestly, there's no space currently in the city that another partner currently have or that we can use. So we are found like we're currently analyzing 3 spaces that we might use as our initial space in Rabat. So it should be like, just to give you a more brighter picture, it should be like a house with a big garden, 3 or 4 floors that we are gonna allocate for different services of our center. So we're gonna like have a house from scratch and rent it and make it look the way we want.
Yeah, actually, there's one more thing. I also help with a startup based out of Toronto called Roost, where they do a lot of like interior design of existing places to create these sort of like collaborative type of environments. So that's another opportunity where we can reduce the cost and be able to leverage that expertise and bring it here.
I do think you've clearly articulated in your plan how this concept has grown organically from all the good work you've already been doing for 3 years with working with entrepreneurs, with your conferences and things. So I thought that was a real plus
Thank
for
you.
you. But I don't really have any other questions. All right, thank you very much. Good job.
Thank you very much.